Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python programming course. Congratulations, we have successfully completed the operators chapter. Today, we are starting one of the most exciting topics in Python, conditional statements. This is where programming starts becoming intelligent. Until now, our programs executed every line from top to bottom without making any decisions. But think about the apps that you use every day. When you open Instagram, it checks if you are logged in. If you are, it shows your feed. If you are not, it asks you to log in. When you use an ATM, it checks if your PIN is correct. If it is correct, then you can automatically withdraw your money. Otherwise, it displays incorrect PIN. Have you ever wondered how computers make these decisions? That's exactly what we are going to learn today. So, by the end of this class, you will be able to make your own programs think before they act. So, before moving on to this session, we will quickly revise the things that we have done in the previous lectures. So, let me name the topic as revision for now. So let me just ask you some questions. So which operators checks the equality? Checks equality. So it's the double equals to operator. Which logical operator requires both condition to be true? So it's the AND operator. Excellent. So what will be the output of if we print 20 greater than 15? If we write it inside a print statement, then the output will be true because the condition satisfies. So notice some things. Comparison operators always return either true or false. But until now, we have only displayed those results. Today, we will use those results to control our program. So this brings us to the start of our today's session with the topic is what is a sorry for the cash flow conditional statement. Okay, so what is a conditional statement? So it starts with a condition, then it checks whether it's true or false. Okay, it follows a sequence, then it makes a decision. So a condition statement allows Python to execute a block of code only when a condition is true. Think of it as asking a question before taking an action. So imagine you are leaving your house, you look outside if it's raining, you take an umbrella. If it's not raining, then you will live without one. Did you make a decision? Yes, the decision depended on a condition. Programming works the same way. So let's say another example. Suppose your phone battery is at 10%. So what happens? A battery warning appears on your phone. If the battery is 90, then there will be no such warning. Again, this decision was based on a condition. So now I think you all clear about the conditional statements. So let's start with the syntax of our if condition. So let me open my online compiler. So the age is 20. If age greater than equals to 18, then you will print you can vote. I'm showing you the syntax, okay? So the first line stores the age. This line is for the storing the age, the value of age. The second line starts with the keyword if. The keyword is if, and then comes the condition. The condition is if the age is greater than 18 or not, greater than equals to 18 or not. So notice the colon in the end. The next line is indented. So the Python indentation is extremely important. It tells Python which statement belongs to the if block. Okay. So if we run the program, then it will give us output as you can vote. Since the condition is satisfied, so it gives us the desired output. So what will happen if the condition doesn't satisfy? If we change the age to, let's say it is less than 50, 18, so it's 50. So it prints nothing. What happened? Nothing was printed. Why? Because the condition was false and the Python skipped this indentation for if. Okay, so Python skipped the indented block. So let me give you a real life example. Imagine an A-rated movie. Age must be at least 18. It's the entry rule. So let me write a program for it too. If you write here age, then we take user defined input here, enter your age. Then check if the individual is valid for the movie. No, you will have to use this colons, not a semicolon. Then we'll print a message. You are allowed to watch the movie. Full stop. So let me run this. So it is asking me for my age and let me give me my age as 20. So it gives me a output as you are allowed to watch the movie as the condition is satisfied. Now what will happen if I run this again and give my age as 15? Then it prints again, nothing is printed. So we just because the condition is not satisfied, then it will skip this intended part of if, and since there is nothing more provided, so it will print nothing. Let me again give you a mini project to check if you are pass or not in a subject. So we'll first take marks as an input. Marks greater than equals to 40, then it will sorry for the colon, then it will print, let's say it will print congratulations, and with the exclamation mark. Okay, so it will also print you passed the exam. Okay, so let me run this program and let me write my marks as, let's say, 55. Sorry, 55. If so, it gives me the output as congratulations, you have passed the exam. Let's try it with another example. Let me write here 32. So it again skips the indentation. So Python only executes the intended block if the condition is true. Okay, so now we will talk about indentation. Okay, let me take age equals to 18, and then I will write, let's say, if age is greater than equals to 18 colon print eligible. So if we run it, it's printing eligible. This is a correct syntax. The indentation are correct. But if I remove this space here and then try to print, then it will give us an error. Why? It's because Python uses indentation instead of braces like some other programming languages. Forgetting indentation will result in an error called the indentation error. So these are the common beginner mistakes. Also, beginner mistakes are that they take equals to double equals to instead of using single equals to. So the correct is for here for this part it's single equals to, and if we want to check if the age is equals to 18, that if age is really equals to 18, then it will be double equals to here. Okay, so let me move on. So also people forget the colon, which will also produce an error. Forgetting indentation is also an error as we talked about it. So let's practice. Pause the video and practice programming with me. Do a program yourself where you take a user's salary input. If the salary is greater than or equals to 50,000, then print you are eligible for the premium credit card. So let me help you with it also. Do with me. So let me take input as salary, int input. It will ask the user to enter his or her salary. Enter your salary. Okay. And then if it is a checking condition, this statement is used to check the condition. 50,000. I've told you to check if the salary is greater than 50,000. Then it will print you are eligible for the premium credit card. Full stop. So let's run this and let me enter my salary as. So yes, it works correctly. So homework for you. So you have to create a program that asks the user for the temperature and checks if the temperature is greater than 35 degrees Celsius, then it will print it's a hot day. Otherwise, it will print nothing. So this was all for if conditions. Now we will begin with the else part. Okay, so the else statement in Python. We will now talk about the else statement. So else statement will help us solve the problem which upon the false of if conditions, the Python was giving us nothing, a blank in output. So else condition will help us solve that problem. So we saw that Python executes a block of code only when a condition is true. But let me ask you something. Suppose I ask Python if a student scores 40 or more marks, print pass. Now imagine that the student scores only 28 marks. What happened? Nothing. Simply Python skipped the if block. But in real world, we don't stop there. If a student doesn't pass, we want to tell them that they failed. If an ATM pin is wrong, the ATM doesn't say style it. It displays incorrect pin. If you enter the wrong password on Instagram, it doesn't just show a blank screen. It says wrong password. Try again. That exactly Python gave us this keyword known as the else statement. So by the end of this class, you will also learn your programs how it will be able to make decisions for both situations when a condition is either true or false. So let me begin with what is else? What is else? So we have learned that when if condition is true, then it runs this block. Okay. else if the condition is condition false, then it will run another block. Okay, so think of an else as a plan B. In the first condition, if the first condition isn't satisfied, then Python automatically executes the else block. So let me give you a real life analogy. So imagine you are leaving your house, but your mother says, if it's raining, take an umbrella. But what if it isn't raining? You simply leave without one. Let's write it in English. It will help you understand it. If it is raining, then take umbrella, or else go normally. So that's why Python is an easy language programming because it is just like English only. It will help you make understand it very simply. Okay, so that is how exactly Python works. Another analogy is your mobile password. If the password is correct, the phone opens. Else the phone displays a message which shows wrong password. Simple. So let us discuss the syntax of if else. Let me remove it. Let me take an input of your age. Let's say your age is 16. If age is greater than equals to 18, then print you can vote. Then we will have to skip the space and use else. Then again this colon and then print a required output. If the condition doesn't satisfied, you cannot vote. Okay, so predict the output. Before I run, you all think of an output. So the output here is you cannot vote. So now what if happen if I change the value? If I change it to 20 and again run it, so it's showing you can vote. So the Python checks the condition first. If it's true, it ignores else. If it's false, then it skips the if block and runs else. Okay, I hope you're understanding it. So let me give you another example of a student result. So let's take a marks as input, user defined input. Then we'll check the condition. If marks greater than equals to 40, then it will print the output as congratulations. Then it will print you passed. Okay, simple like that. Then correct indentation we will use and then we will write the print the else statements. If we don't pass, then what it is generally shown? Better luck next time. Better luck next time. Full stop. Then it will print you failed. So let me run this program and write here 55. It says congrats, you passed. If we change the input again, the changed input, if we write here 30, so it will show you better luck next time you fail. So here what happens is first we give the input and if first checks the if condition. Since here we wrote 30, then the if condition doesn't satisfy, then it will completely skip this if if block and go to the else block and then print this and then the program is completed. Okay, that is why we are getting here better luck next time for entering 30. Let us suppose The passing marks are 40. If the marks are 40 or above, the teacher writes pass. Otherwise, the report shows fail. Exactly, this is what a program does. So let me give you a program for ATM pin 2. Okay. So let's take an input as pin and int pin we will take as an user defined int input. So it will tell the user to enter the pin. Okay. And then we will have the pin which is as predefined. So let's say the pin was 1234. If the print, if the user types this print, then the access will be granted. Access granted. If he fails to do so, then the access. Okay, okay. You see, I made a rookie beginner mistake. See, I have not given the correct colon. Okay, so you need to keep this in mind. Else will print here incorrect pin. Okay, so let me run this program. Upon running it, and I will first write 1234. So the pin matches and the access is granted. So what will happen if I write any other pin here? So let me say I write some random number and it doesn't match. So it will give output as incorrect pin. And this is how ATMs work. They compare the entered pin. If correct, they continue. Otherwise, they reject the request. So let's check an example, other example or even or odd numbers. So let's say take a number as an input. If number percent 2 equals to 0, then print. This is the logic for even numbers. Okay, and then else part for the odd. If the number isn't even, then it will automatically be an odd number, right? It's common sense. Print number. Okay. So we will be thinking that why are we using this percentage sign here? So students, to find the remainder, as we have already talked about the remainder in the previous lectures. Okay. So even numbers have remainder 0. Okay. That's a simple logic. So upon running this code, if we need to check, let's say we'll check 8. 8 is an even number. We all know. If we want to check if it's an odd number or not, then we will check 11. When it's giving an odd number, let's check with a negative number also, minus 5. So it will give an odd number. What will happen if we give minus 4? It gives an even number. So it works for every case. Okay. So let's take an example. So imagine you have 8 chocolates. You divide them equally into 2 groups. So nothing remains. Even. So now try chocolates 11 and 1 is left. So it's odd. Okay. So I hope you are clear with the if and else part. Uh, I have made you understand it very simple way. So let's make a mini project of, let's say, a discount calculator. Let's build a practical program. So a store offers a 10% discount if the purchase amount is rupees 5,000 or more. Okay, so let's make a program for this. Let's first we will have to check the amount. So it's an user defined amount. The user will give us the amount he has purchased. So enter purchase amount in rupees. So we'll have to specify him that it's rupees. Okay, I don't have the rupees symbol here, so we will have to understand it itself. If amount is greater than equals to what we said 5000, right? Yes, 5000. Then it will print congratulations, exclamation mark, and then it will print about the discount message. You received a 10% discount. Okay, full stop. So let's also give here the else condition. The else, it will give you a print statement which will say, let's say what it says sorry. Sorry to express grief. Print no discount available. It will print no discount available. Okay, so just like that it will work. So if I press the run here and input we will take as 6500, so it will show here yes you received a 10% discount. So let's check the else condition also. We'll take a new amount of 500, so it will give us sorry no discount available. So this was the use case of if and else. So let me again discuss some common mistakes that beginners do. Is wrong indentation. They skip the spaces after each block of if or else, then it won't work. Okay, Python requires indentation. Forgetting the colon is also a beginner mistake. They simply forget to use this colon or use the semicolon. Okay, they also write else with a condition. So else doesn't need any conditions. Okay, if only uses a condition. Else is the what happens after the condition is not satisfied. Okay, else never has a condition. Only if has one. So you can also practice a program by creating a code for in which the it is asked the user for the age. If the age is 18 or above, then it will print you are eligible for a driving license, or else it prints you are not eligible. So what we'll have to do is just take age as input, and then we'll have to write a condition in if statement, it which checks if age is greater than equals to 18 or not. If it is so, then it will print you are eligible for a driving license, else it will print that you are not eligible yet. So now the homework would be to create a Python program that asks the user for the exam marks. If the marks, let's say, is greater than 90 or above, then it will print excellent performance. Otherwise, it will print keep practicing. So great job, everyone. So you have learned how to use else statement, if statement, which allows your program to handle both outcomes of a decision. We built programs like student result calculator, student result calculator. Also, we made a ATM pin verification and many more, odd even also. So now we will learn about if-elif. It is also a conditional statement. Sorry, it is also a statement in Python, which will help us to include more than one condition. So we saw that when Python can perform one action when a condition is true and another action when the condition is false. Let me add a page and write here that what will happen if we have another condition also. Suppose your school has the following grading system. If the marks are above 90, then we will get grade A. If between 75 and 89, we will get grade as B. And between 60 and 74 to grade C. And if marks below 60, let's say 60, then it will give a grade D. Okay. So can we solve this program using only if and else? No, right? Not really, because we have more than two possibilities here. This is where Python gives you another keyword, which we'll discuss now. It's elif, which means else if. Today we will learn Python can also choose between multiple conditions. So by far only our programs had two choices, but many real world programs will have more than two, three, four, or even 10 choices. That's exactly this use case of else if. So our first question should be, what is this elif? Okay, sorry for this. Okay, so if statement, if the condition 1, if is used to check the first condition, and then comes elif to check the condition 2. Then we can also write one more elif to check another condition 3, and then if our condition last condition, for the last condition we'll use else, and then everything else if we want the output. Yes, okay. So Python checks condition one by one. The moment it finds a true condition, it executes that block and skips the rest part. So imagine you are driving. If the signal is green, then it is a signal for go. Else, if the signal is yellow, it's for slowing down. And if the signal is red, it's for stop. Else, the signal is not working. This is how exactly else it works. So let me help you with the syntax of else if, and first we will have to remove all this. Okay, let me take an input as marks equals to, let's say, 82. So if marks is greater than equals to 90 colon, then indentation we'll have to give print grade A. Okay, then we will use elif marks greater than, let's say, mm, 75. Then let me take it equals to also here. Then it would print grade B. Or lastly, we will take an else. It will print grade as C. Let me run this, and the output is grade B, because the Python first checks if 82 is greater than 90 or not, because the first checking condition is the if condition. Then it gives us a false, then it moves to another indentation, another block. So it checks the else if condition. Here it is, the condition is that marks is greater than equals to 75. Yes, 82 is greater than equals to 75. So it will print the whatever is inside that block and skip the any other block and come to the end of the program. Okay. So Python prints grade B and stops checking. So let me make another project for grade calculator. Okay. So let's take marks as a user defined input. And then we will write the first condition, which is in the if marks is greater than equals to 90. Then we will have to print Grade A. Elif marks greater than equals to 75. Sorry, equals to 75. Why am I writing this in a bracket? Sorry. Elif marks greater than equal. You can write it in a bracket. There's nothing wrong in it. Print grade as B. Okay. And then another condition of else if elif. Sorry, we write here elif marks, let's say greater than equals to 60. Then it will print the grade as C. Lastly, the else condition. We'll have to write it in comma, semicolon, semi-commas, okay? Inverted commas, sorry. So basically, I will run this program now. Upon running, we will take an input as 95. It will give us a grade A. So if we run again and check all the conditions, if we write here 80, it gives us a grade B. So upon running it again for checking another condition, if we write here, let's say 60, it will give us a grade C. To check if the grade is D or not, let me just write a 12. It gives me a grade D. Okay, so I have explained each of these cases when the elif works and when the else works. Okay, so let me give you another example which every school follows something similar. Teachers don't usually manually compare every student's marks. The software automatically checks if it is above 90 or if it's above 75 or it's just above 60 or otherwise he is fail or not. Okay, so this is how the school uses its software to determine the grades of a student. Okay, so now we will learn about, let's say, mm, let me give you another example of an analogy in which, so sorry for this, if you run this one. So many shopping websites work like if you spend a minimum amount of 10,000, it will give you a 20% discount. If you spend 5,000, then a 10% discount. Upon spending 2,000, you will give a 5% discount. If you spend less than 2,000, then you will get no discount. So you can also make a program on these conditions, which will be following if and elif. So I will now have to guide you with some common beginner mistakes, like uh, if you check if marks is greater than 60 first and then check marks is greater than 90, then it would not work. If a student with 95 marks satisfies the first condition, if you have not taken in a correct order, the Python will print the grade C and never reach the correct condition which they have to pass through, which was grade A. So you will also always need to maintain a correct order. Okay. And also always check the highest condition first. Using else before elif, you need to use else at the last. No elif in the middle. No else in the middle. Else is always in the last. If begins, then in middle it's elif and then it ends with the else. Also, you forget the colon or use the semicolon. So these are some common beginner mistakes. Also, okay, so let me give you a homework to create a Python program that asks the user that, let me write it, asks the user for current temperature, for current temperature. If the temperature is above 40 degrees Celsius or 40 equals to or greater than 40 degree, then it will print very hot. Okay, If it's between 30 and 39, then it will print warm. If it is between 20 and 29, then it will print pleasant. And lastly, the else statement will be cold. Okay, so excellent work. So today you have learned how to use if, else, and elif statement, which allows Python to choose between multiple conditions. We have built again a grade calculator, an age calculator, discount calculator, and also learned the order of the conditions is very important. So, in the next session, we will make our decision making more powerful by learning nested if statements and building larger real world programs like login systems, ADM simulations, and admission checkers. Keep practicing today's example. Try changing the values and experiment with your own conditions. Every program that you will write will strengthen your own understandings only. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next session. Happy coding. Thank you.